Anthony Slater of The Athletic. He's joining us here on this busy day on ESPN 1320. Anthony, thrilled that you're here, man. Appreciate you for joining us. You noted at the end of your column on the Kings that you think they might be leaning towards Murray at the number 4. What makes you think that?
There's obviously smoke screens pre-draft, but the fact that Ivey pretty readily admitted that he hasn't really been in contact, and that's not a disqualifier. Davion Mitchell obviously last season didn't, but then you see from Chris Haynes at Yahoo that Keegan Murray went out to dinner with De'Aaron Fox and Sabonis. I mean, that is a level of interest that that high in the draft you don't show too many guys. And then if you just take a step or two back and try to read the situation of what this roster might need, and the fact that we know how motivated they are to maximize this roster, like Keegan Murray does fit what they need, like a wing that could shoot it and defend a little bit, multi-positionally. So it just, to me, that just seems where it might be leaning, but without knowing all the different draft possibilities that are on Monty McNair's table right now and will be before he makes the pick.
Anthony, when you look at this number 4 pick, we're hearing so much about it. We're hearing things about, the draft starts here, and you hear the reports about how people are just calling left and right, trying to move up. Are these the same things that you're hearing, or do you think it's just a lot of smoke? Like, is there serious intrigue by multiple teams to try and get up to 4?
Oh, there's certainly intrigue. There always is. I cover, I've now become veteran at covering these higher lottery picks over the last couple of seasons with the Warriors when they had 2 and Wiseman, and there was just so much belief around the league that they'd be willing to trade that pick. And even last year when they had 7 and 14, they ended up using all those, got Kuminga, got Moody, but because there was such belief from the league that they'd want to trade those picks to help their veteran core, there was just felt like smoke screens, misinformation out there, good information out there, and it's such a difficult time in the NBA calendar to read rumors because you don't know where it's coming from. You don't know the motivation, why it's coming out. So it's just, you have to take everything in somewhat of a, first of all, trust who you're talking to, but also understand that, it's going to all kind of come out in the wash, and then you just kind of try to read it as best as you can.
Given that at least apparent interest in Jaden Ivey, and you read a number of things that'll say, the draft starts at 4 with Sacramento. Don't you, assuming the top 3 goes chalk and it goes the way that we expect, if you're the Sacramento Kings, do you have to pick Jaden Ivey right there with the idea of, even if we don't work out a deal in the 5 minutes that we're on the clock, now Jaden Ivey is here. He's a good ball player. He's here, and we can continue to have discussions with Detroits and Washingtons and whoever else may call about him.
Yeah, you could, but once the draft actually hits, there's 2 things. Number one, a lot of times with prospects, it's like driving a new car off the lot. They say the moment that you take it off, the value goes down. And also, I assume if the Kings are making a trade, it is likely for another pick near them. And you want to be the one to make that pick. You don't want to let another team make the pick, and then you're just taking the prospect that you got. Let's say you did work out something with the Pacers at 6, but it didn't get completed until 2 days after the draft. Well, then you're victim to whoever the Pacers drafted at 6. Now, you'd want to make that trade drafting somebody at 6. So, I think you just want to, end the night with the guy that you wanted going into it. And to me, I don't really see a lot of the stuff being floated out there, move back to 10, move back to 12. I just think that's unwise. I think they should sit there at 4, considering where they are in their franchise development, and draft a guy they think will just be the best long term. And you can make the argument that it's Keegan Murray. To me, this is not Luka Bagley, right? Luka was more of a sure thing, I think, than Ivy is.
Mm-hmm. I completely agree.
Yeah, I agree with you emphatically with that one. When you talk about the move back scenario, so I'm not married to one thing or the other, but I do feel like this team needs to bolster the roster in a major way. And the biggest asset they have right now on that roster really is probably that number 4 pick. And in a draft that I think is a little better than people give it credit for, if you are able to move, I'm just saying randomly, we talked about a number of different teams, but if you were to move with the Wizards and go back to 10, pick up a guy who's a starter like Kyle Kuzma, a rotational guy. I think that's a good way to build your roster as opposed to just making a pick at 4 and still having a number of different holes on that roster.
Yeah, I mean, that is the way to be as good as possible next season. And, Monty McNair's on the last season of his deal. Mike Brown is coming to coach a winner next season, he hopes. And, winner is I guess, subjective, but, at least they're trying to get in the play and hopefully sneak in the playoffs. So I understand that, that might be the plan, that might be the path they go, but I just don't think that is the smart path organizationally. I think the best thing they could do is just draft a 19, 20-year-old who they believe has the likeliest chance in the year 2025, 2026 to be an all-star, because, that's how they kind of handcuff themselves and tie themselves in this knot. But again, I think we all kind of understand the situation. So maybe the only thing is, I don't know, who do you like at like 8, 9, 10? I think if they could go back a few picks, maybe get a Shaden Sharp, maybe Murray falls there, that's fine. But I feel like the draft really starts to tail off as you get towards 8, 9, 10, as far as guys that can help next season.
Feels like we're really talking about Detroit and Indiana. Once we get past that, it's like, okay, what is Washington really offering? What are some of these teams at the back end really offering? What do you think happens tomorrow?
I think they take Keegan Murray 4th would be my guess. And again, it's I guess you would say slightly educated guess, but a guess, not like a reporting that it's definitely happening.
Too late. We already tweeded it. Anthony Slater of The Athletic says it's out there.
Aggregated. Yeah. I've been through so many of these now where it just feels like every draft there's like 95 different rumors. I remember when the Warriors had the second pick, everyone thought going in they're going to trade it to the Bulls at 4 for Wendell Carter in the 4th pick. Like that was, I remember in the lead up to the draft, that was the big rumor. Like a lot of that stuff just never happens, and teams just take the pick in their slot. So my guess is they use 4, and if they use 4, I think just because of fit on roster, because of where they are in their arc, I think they're going to view Keegan Murray as a guy that can just kind of plug and play.
This stuff sounds so ridiculous in hindsight too. They were going to trade for Wendell Carter, and like, wait, what?
Yeah.
Anthony Slater, multi-talented. He's covering championship parades and exit interviews with the Golden State Warriors and us. So my man is multi-talented. Anthony, we appreciate you. Thank you for carving out a couple minutes for us, man. We know you're busy. Thank you.
All right, fellas.